Good evening and welcome to Hello It's Us, a program based on the premise that life in general goes better if all of us are pulling the same direction, as opposed to you, me, and them all working at cross purposes. Hello It's Us is brought to you by a collaboration between the Center for Disabilities and Development, the Extended Dream Foundation, and all the folks here at Public Access Television. I'm Terry Cunningham, your host, and tonight we're happy to have some of the folks from the Combined Efforts Theater Group here to talk a little about the group itself and an upcoming play. I'll let everybody introduce themselves.
So I'm Oshan Perez. I'm a freelance costume designer and sometimes actor here in Iowa City. I'm on the board of Combined Efforts Theater, and I'm directing the upcoming winter show that'll be in January.
Mary House. I'm in the winter production. I played a production manager.
And I'm Sarah Bender. I'm in this current production, and in my free time I do a variety of things, which we can talk about later, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm Janet Schlapko, and I'm the artistic director and founder of Combined Efforts Theater. And I'm actually taking a very minor role in this production, so they're going to talk a lot about it.
Good. Well, as founder of Combined Efforts, you want to tell us a little about what the brainchild was for starting it and exactly what your goals are for it and that
Sure.
kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was a teacher, a special education teacher at City High School here in Iowa City. And in my classrooms, I was also a assistant drama director with Douglas Stina. And I couldn't help but notice how many students I had that had wonderful skills with singing and sometimes in class imitations or doing little sketches about current television shows or something. And it was obvious that there was a great wealth of talent in acting. So I decided to see if we couldn't do some productions with them, and it just blossomed from there that I would seek out students within the special education program, also the regular education program, and we started doing, our first production was in 2002, and since then we've grown. We do 4 productions a year, and we have a huge company. We're now a nonprofit. We have been for about 5 years. We just received a program from the Kennedy Center. We were one of 5 theater companies in the entire nation to receive this playwriting initiative. So they awarded our company money to send our actors and company members out into the community to schools or to places like Uptown Bills and other locations to teach playwriting to students ages 10 through 22. And the program is free for parents or to the participants. At the end, a student should have a play, or a group of students, up to 5 students, can have a play that they can send to the Kennedy Center for a national competition. And if they win, they get a trip to Washington, D.C. and have their play professionally developed. So I think that's probably our biggest accomplishment right now, because we're in a league of theater companies that are like Boston Children's Theater, Actors Theater of Louisville, and Combined Efforts from Iowa City. So it's pretty phenomenal that they picked us.
Very cool. So how many plays have you guys done then? Since the beginning? You do 4 a year now. But
Well, we're really lucky that we have Janet, who's finished the playwriting program here at Iowa, so we've been able to produce a number of original scripts that have been built for our specific company. So I think that that's one of the really most invaluable assets to our being able to produce as much as we have been, because like Janet said, we do 4 shows a year. Generally, and we kind of do projects in between that. So I don't know what the number is. Do you know what the number
No,
is?
I would say if we took, the math, so
Yeah,
4 times 6 for the last 6 years, and then 2 times 6 for before that, and someone else can do that math.
But a good number,
Yeah,
yeah.
over, I would say close to 20 different full-length plays. Mm-hmm. And writing them is infinitely satisfying to do, so.
Yay.
And recently we've had other contributing writers for different sketches. Some of the company members are stepping up and adding first a scene here and there, but it's starting to blossom, and that's a big goal, is that we'd have contributions from other writers that we would then produce original work, because all of our plays are original.
Right.
So.
Well, and I mean, part of what our like idea is that we incorporate whatever skills and abilities people bring to the table. So if we have somebody who's particularly like interested in doing writing or doing some other aspect of the show, then we're always trying to incorporate that as best we can, you know. So.
Like Mary does puppets and was interested in puppets, and so then we wrote a scene for her for the summer show that she actually had quite a bit of input on the humor. So.
Having watched rehearsals from a few of your plays, it really is fun to watch and see all the different people working together and all the different personalities, and how some of them get shut off as soon as things start. They can jump into what's going on, and it's something that I hope lots of people get to come and see.
Yeah.
Because
well, the show, that's a good, the show is going to be the second weekend in January, so that's the 10th through the 12th of January, and it's going to be at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. They have a building there. This will be the first time that we're in that particular space, so it's kind of exciting, new time, but yeah, so I would love to get a bunch of new people to come and see what we do and see like what a great result we can create, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even if one of the things I've found out about this experience is, even if you're really shy maybe or have no practice, I'm a brain injury survivor, and maybe reading's not so good anymore, but I can just keep practicing, and I've gotten, I feel like I've gotten better.
Yeah.
They let me keep coming back, so it's good.
I love to see the growth of the people in our company. I think it's really amazing the way that people can blossom when they're given the opportunity, you know, and it's sort of not a opportunity that comes by very often in a lot of cases, so that's always a really
Were you
cool
nervous
factor.
before your first performance, Mary?
Yeah.
or- Yeah?
I think so.
How about now?
Not as much.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, not really now.
What things help you be less nervous?
Probably because I used my puppet that first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's easier to
Something you're
for
familiar.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And the funny line, when the lines are funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you know you're going to get a good response
Yeah.
from the audience. And Sarah does accents, so can you give us a sample, Sarah?
From the South, perhaps, I can do a little bit of an accent there. I practice at home, and people look, what you doing? I'm practicing, getting ready. So.
Well, it certainly is an incredibly open and welcoming environment from what I've been able to see, so that, you know, the folks who would be a little shy about doing something or think twice would be well served to come to the play or think about getting involved somehow and see what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
Which is always ends up being so interesting with
Yeah.
folks who don't typically get that opportunity.
I think our audiences are always surprised because the takeaway from it is very rewarding, both for the audience and for the cast members, and it's rewarding in a way that's not expected. I think there was somebody came and reviewed our plays and said that they had a certain preconceived notion about what it might be like or what it might look like, and they had absolutely wasn't what they had anticipated at all. So, and that's good.
Well, and you guys did part of an act from your summer play for the ADA celebration this
Right.
year. And we got lots and lots of really, really positive comments
Good.
from folks who enjoyed and you know, said they were going to try to look up and find out that they had no idea that there was a group like yours around. And, in addition to the theater company, you also have a choir.
We have a choir and a dance company. Mary's in our dance company.
And it
And,
started?
just started recently. And then we have a men's choir. And Michael Penick is the director of the men's choir, and he's a graduate student in choral performance music here at the University of Iowa. And the dance company is directed currently by two young women who are at the University of Iowa, Heidi Bibler and Christina Sullivan. So they meet at Hillel House twice a week, the dance company, and the men's choir practices upstairs at Uptown Bills. So, yeah, and they're great. They've sung at, the guys have sung at a wedding, and the dance team has performed with a giant dance program in front of something like 500 people last spring at the Coralville Center for Performing Arts. So we're starting to be in more spaces too.
And this summer they did the what was that called? The cultural
Cultural corridor.
no cultural festival.
Cultural festival.
through the university.
That's right. That's
So,
right, for the university.
Yeah, so we're trying to expand in as many different ways as
And
we
have
can.
more people know about it too.
If somebody wanted to get involved with combined efforts, how would they go about that? And what kind of opportunities would they have?
Well, they could, not everybody has access to a computer, this is true, but many people do. So there is a website, and we can leave it, that maybe you could put it up on your show, but it's just combinedefforts.org. So combined efforts is one word, .org. And then that usually shows what different programs, and has phone numbers for contact information. But they're always welcome to call me as well.
And pictures from our shows.
And pictures from our shows are up
Yeah.
there. So, and I think that might help them. Seeing photos sometimes helps you visualize yourself in that situation. Like, I could see me in that clown mask.
Now, if somebody doesn't feel comfortable being in the acting side of it, what other opportunities?
Costumes. We've had people come in and just do makeup, hair. Your sister did hair for
right.
us.
We've got a couple students at City High that are going to be doing some lighting work for us. So
Sound. We could always use sound. Building the sound background is kind of a specialty thing that some people really enjoy doing. So there's all of the things that would go with normally a production.
yeah.
And then we could use marketing, fundraising, just a myriad of other sorts of things.
Yeah, because we like to do like a little, like at a lot of our productions, we have sort of like a hospitality setup generally, so we can always use people who are just interested in helping with that sort of thing. So we try to incorporate like all sorts of different people's, like what they want to try, so.
How many people are involved right now?
How many are in the cast? Is it?
The cast is about 30
I was
right
gonna
now.
say it's about 30.
Give or take. We've
Yeah. So
added
we have
and
outgrown
lost.
the little theater. It's
Yeah, yeah.
There is
So
no wing
It can get a
space.
little chaotic trying to incorporate 30 people, but yeah.
But sometimes we do different scenes, different days.
Right.
That's one of the things I appreciated in the beginning, because one of my issues is crowds. I didn't have to be shoved into the crowd right away,
Mm-hmm.
and was able to practice in smaller groups, little bits. And the other thing, before I forget, the adaptation that is made for each person, that for their needs, to be able to join in the performance.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah. And that's really a big challenge, and that's something that I personally feel like I'm always trying to work on when I'm doing directing, is like trying to keep in mind that different people are trying to get different things out of the experience and have different needs. And so yeah, that's almost more important to me than getting the script memorized and all that sort of stuff. Like that's hard, and that comes with practice, but yeah, that's what I personally as a director try to remember every day. So
And then for some people, you have ways, if they can't memorize, you have
Yep.
like ways
Sure.
they can do.
yeah,
We're like
yeah.
past masters at hiding a script where you'd never see it. Like there could be totally my lines are in my coffee cup right now. I'm just reading what I'm supposed to be saying.
I found out about combined efforts through a person I used to know through the Almost Reach for Your Potential Supportive Living program. And I found it through, I don't know if I should say her name,
Oh, it's probably okay.
Sherry, I can't say her.
Breedlove.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I came to a couple of her performances, and the second one, I'm like, oh, wow, I like to do that.
Yeah.
The first one I did, but I forgot to get contact early enough,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's how I said I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I never did that stuff
I
in
think
high
that's
school.
pretty common. I think a lot of people come and see a production and then they say, "Oh, that looks I really enjoyed that," and I think that maybe I would want to try doing something like that. So, yeah.
Because like when I was in high school and stuff, I didn't do stuff. I was in a choir, but not so bad at all.
You hadn't unleashed your acting skills
Yeah.
on the world yet.
I was in a production of Oklahoma. I was a
Oh,
choir
wow.
in Oklahoma in my
Oh,
senior
yeah.
Muscatine High
Very
School.
much like everybody else gets interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Yeah.
same way.
Which is-
Exactly.
It always seems funny that those are comments people make that, who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Who'd have never thought would have been interested? Could have been coming to plays or could have
All
been
that
doing
time.
this. And, it's just,
Well, now you're in our next. We've actually.
apparently I am.
Yes, you are. You want to, and you're playing in a scene. Sarah, you want to describe that a little bit? Your scene with your daddy here.
This is my father, and we are from the South, and he's not terribly healthy. I'll tell you that. I'm feeling a little guilty, and I can tell you my sister shows up, and we have a slight argument. I highly recommend coming to see it.
Yes.
Yes.
And your role
There
is
for the
Judge
advertise-
Grayson.
Yeah, I really need to.
Start working on it.
Well, yeah, my computer's had issues and doesn't want to print for me.
Oh
So
no. Mary will have extra
I will
scripts.
have to.
That's probably a blessing in disguise because we've gone through so many versions of the script. I have the hundreds of pages in my car of script revisions, but we're finally set in our script. So
I have noticed that about the previous plays where,
It's
This is how it's not like traditional theater. It's much more like a working collaboration because if something isn't going to work, then you have to do something else. And it also depends upon who you get for a part. You may have 7 zombies versus 2, or you could have 8 cowboys and you only wrote a part for 1. And so all of those sorts of things, or you don't have any of something that you counted on. So that's part of the. But I like theater that's workshopped with a crew of actors because it's the truest test of whether or not the script itself is making sense, is when you hear people say the words. And then if it doesn't, you have the option of changing it, and there's no royalty fees.
Well, that's one reason I really like working with you is because I feel like nothing is too precious. Like
Right,
I don't feel like, oh, if I get rid of this line, Janet's I'm gonna run into like copyright issues or anything like that. So, and we kind of are on the same level. I think in a lot of cases where I kind of know what you would think anyway. So
Yeah, I think that's true.
That's
I think the cast
valuable.
always ends up, in the weirdest way, sharing the same sense of humor. I was thinking about that the other day. Is like, how is it that I think our one common thing is almost everybody has would laugh at the same things in the whole cast, whatever cast we have. There's a point at which we all start to find the same things funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tone of the piece then is set, So this one's kind of that, I wouldn't say farcical, or would
Almost.
maybe, okay,
Yeah.
farcical might be
Yeah.
the word. So it kind of, and then all of a sudden that's the tone that the piece is at, and it's come from everybody working on it and adding their little, like Mary often puts in an idea that she thinks would be humorous, and
Yeah.
all those things together make it set.
You know what I would say the tone is that I'm trying to get is sort of like a vaudeville comedy. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of shticky a little bit, but in a good way. So,
Sticky in a good way.
from what I've seen of it and what I've read, it immediately strikes me as WKRP-ish.
Oh, that's interesting.
You mean
We'll have to look at back episodes.
Yeah.
You don't know that show. You're too
No,
young. See, this
I
this
don't
only
know.
hit me. Wait,
Yeah.
you?
Yep.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yep.
I was in
As
the-
God is my witness, I swore I thought turkeys could fly. Which has to be one of the greatest lines ever on television. But yes. And that also makes it so sad that school systems now don't have the theater departments and that used to be. I mean, having gone to Catholic school, that was something that was very evident, and you know, you had the music / theater nun who you know, produced basically 9 shows anytime we were doing any, because you had to have the winter show where every class did their little stuff, and you know, where
Yeah, I went
the
to-
whole audition process was much different than any place else,
Yeah.
because sister sat up front and said, Miss Ryan, you will be this. Mr. Cunningham, you will be this. Mr. Keller, you will be this. Please stop at my desk on your way out to get the pattern for your costume to take home.
For your parent to sew.
And it,
Because we'll assume that
yes,
your mother sews.
We all found out very quickly that your role had a whole lot more to do with how good a costume your mother made than any talent you might have. And it was pretty heartbreaking for some people to find out they couldn't get a part because their mother didn't sew. That was the way it was.
I went to a Catholic grade
And,
school.
well, and then as soon as the play was over, sister would come up and deftly take your costume and look at your mother and say, and thank you for donating this to to the wardrobe closet, because surely you won't use it again. It- but it also gave you a real appreciation of doing that stuff.
You know, I went to Catholic grade school because at the time there was special needs and they could give me no one-on-one help, even though, you know, we're Presbyterian, but I remember still some of the songs from, and it's
Oh,
fresh
yeah,
memories.
it was.
I don't think we did many plays, or I can't remember, but I remember some of the songs we sing at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing combined effort since I was in high school, actually.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of,
How many years is this then?
this is almost like 6 years,
Yeah.
I think, that I've
Wow.
been, maybe even 7 that I've been.
Almost 6 years he's been out of high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at a 20 to that number.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
because I started in high school in the regular theater department, and then I was working with Janet there, and then she was doing the second thing, and I kind of tagged in on that a little bit, and it's just been going from there. And I've mostly been doing costumes in the past. This is actually the first thing that I've directed, but
Didn't you
for-
direct
for
one in the
combined
summer?
efforts.
In the summertime, I felt like
I
you
like
did.
assisted.
Directed.
I've kind of done
You've
a lot of
assisted quite a
things.
bit, and yeah, and done other.
Yeah.
She's a good director.
Good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think so too.
I'm
I
trying.
think so too.
She's a good director.
Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, Iowa City appears to be fairly blessed with talent and the opportunities to do it. I mean, we've had some of the folks from Best Buddies on the show, and I went to the Best Buddies on Broadway thing last spring. It was just wonderful. And
Yeah, we're blessed with a lot of really talented volunteers, a lot of people who are just putting in their time just to just to help us out for, and I'm really appreciative of that. And
yes, I sincerely doubt you're ever going to turn away
oh no,
any
no,
volunteers.
No.
No, never.
No.
Even if they're just, I don't know what, holding cue cards or something, but
Yeah.
you know.
Which we have done in a show. We did do that in a show a long time ago at the Little Theater. We had someone opposite, 2 people hold cue cards up on the other side of the stage for them. So we have done that.
What's your dream for combined efforts?
I'm glad you asked. So here's my dream for Iowa City, this community. I would like to have a centrally located on the bus route, on the system, all of the bus routes, so that they come in there easily, entirely accessible for actors and artist space where there's a coffee shop / you could have like a little bit more than just the biscuitsy things, okay? And it's run by persons with disabilities, special needs in that coffee shop, and there's area for artists to display their artwork on all of the walls for sale, and there's like a ceramics and wood sort of areas that people that would come in to the coffee shop would look and see things that they wish to purchase. There'd be books to read. There'd be a small stage in that section that had for like little musical groups. And then it would open up into about 90-seat house theater maybe even not that big, maybe an 80-seat house theater with a nice space, a good load in from the back, and with just kind of minimal, simple lights and sound. And then that space would be, we could rent it out to other smaller theater companies. There's many really good theater companies in Iowa City. And so that there would always be a show going on. And then we would have an area for dance affiliated with it too, so that we could have our dance company there to practice, and a piano in a separate room for the choir to practice. So you've got one room with a piano and a choir. You got another area that's dance, but it's open. You got the theater space with an 80-seat house that anybody could rent. You have the little coffee shop with a tiny musical venue thing. And then we would get state money to have people that can act that is their job. Like they're an artist, they're a legit artist, and instead of paying for somebody to be at other venues working, which we do in the community, the money would go to pay an actor to work with them to constantly be creating scripts and working on. We put together a play, but what we don't have time to do is work really intensely on acting skills, and there's a lot to be taught, voice, all of that. So that would be my dream, like a centrally located. And there is an example of this, if somebody wanted to look up and say, what would this look like? Interact Theater in Minneapolis, Minnesota has this. And the state pays their actors. That's what they do, that's their job. So I think that would be amazing. And I think Iowa City could support it because we have the university, so we'd have people who could come and do internships with us. So this I want to see happen.
I think she's really smart. It's the first time I've heard that. I'm sorry to
too.
interrupt.
Yep, that's what I'd like to see happen.
Wow.
Wow.
We should
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, we should.
Because
We should pull people on it.
There are some possibilities for something like that out there.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Cool.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, we've burned through our time for today. Hopefully it was
Already?
relatively painless for everyone.
Yes.
So remember to stop out and see the play the second weekend of January.
And check our website. There'll be updates on combinedefforts.org.
Yep.
Thank you
Thank
all
you
for
for
coming.
having us.
Thank you for
It was
having us.
fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody next week.